fucking dodging. You got to look both ways before you cross the street. Everybody's taking shots at us, Caitlin Clark fans, the Chicago Sky vloggers, the content creators, the Angel Reese content creators are firing at us non-stop. We got to keep our head on a swivel, y'all. We got to keep our head on a swivel. Stephanie White's a bum and needs to be fired. That's what's going on. Did y'all see the interviews today? Sophie Cunningham just exposed Stephanie White. Flat out exposed her.
A plot twist from a reality show that no one signed up for was just pulled off by Sophie Cunningham. She did more than simply stand up for Caitlin. With receipts, sass, and an expression that cried out, Clark completely destroyed Stephanie White's coaching reputation. I said what I said. What set off this fierce takedown? Why does everyone in the WNBA behave like it's a team effort? Terribly incorrect. This tea is hotter than the Fever's bench rotation, so stay put.
Stephanie White, in her post-game interview, confirms the team looks the best when the ball is in Caitlin's hands, when she is the main decision maker, and everything revolves around her. Yet for some strange reason, in the Valkyries game yesterday, after witnessing that in real time, Stephanie White decides to change things up, slow the things down, take Caitlin out the game, and she complains that the team suddenly loses focus.
It has nothing to do with any 5 reasons why fans swarm the arena with mismatched merchandise and chant like it's a cult revival gathering. Player configuration: the Caitlin system is what it is. The system is Caitlin. You could toss 5 Fever jerseys and traffic cones next to her, and it would continue to sell out. After all, nobody is purchasing tickets to witness screen aids and backdoor edits. Caitlin is being purchased by them. Time.
Sophie Cunningham went on the record to basically say what I've been saying and everyone else. Give the damn ball to Caitlin. Whatever offense we running right now, it is not working. You have to give the ball to Caitlin and let Caitlin do what Caitlin has to do. Now, we done seen this formation time and time again. Now, I know some people might want to say Caitlin Clark was off the ball somewhere at Iowa. She was a little bit in years past.
When the ecosystem is centered around a single gravitational force, this isn't a team sport. It's a basketball theater, and she is the director, the main attraction, and the one who shreds tickets at the door, and into this magnificent pandemonium strolls. Sophie Cunningham is a full-time truth teller, human microphone, and basketball player. Thank God the woman doesn't have a mute button.
It's a rough time being an Indiana Fever fan right now. Things is getting real crucial. It's real serious. We're almost 20 games into the season, and we are below 500. This is embarrassing. I would have, at the beginning of the season, I would have bet you my last breath. I would have bet my life, my house, everything, that there was a 0% chance that we would be under 500 19 games into the season. This is crazy.
Sophie is not here to act as a diplomat. She is definitely not sugarcoating anything, and she is not asking for a position at the league office. To maintain the delighted crowd's positive feelings, she expresses what needs to be communicated with accuracy and HD clarity. Of a dollhouse with a buzzsaw, she tells the truth as if it owes her money, which makes people uneasy around her. When you ask Sophie a question, you receive a fireworks display and a TED presentation instead of a soundbite.
To watch a 19-point loss, Caitlin Clark's return, in which, since this is a lady we're talking about, it looks like Stephanie White has spaded Caitlin Clark, for lack of a better way of putting it. If it was a dude, I'd say neutered, but, you get my point. She has taken away Caitlin Clark's greatest asset, which is the creator and instigator of offense.
She possesses the uncommon ability to truly believe what she says when speaking out in public. It is the equivalent of skydiving in the age of media-trained athletes spouting cliches. With complete confidence but no parachute, naturally, some sensitive people had their emotions changed when she handed her 2 cents, or more accurately, $200 worth of nothing. Which cities ought to make WNBA expansion teams take notice? A player with a viewpoint concerning the league, before the microphones. How could she disturb the beige interviewer's echo chamber? Pre-approved the talking points, she wasn't engaging in league politics, she tossed the board, rolled the dice, and informed everyone that the pieces had been rigged from the beginning. That's the charm, though. Sophie is not attempting to win Miss Cordiality, she sees what every basketball IQ above sea level sees, so it's not PR. Everyone and the system is Caitlyn. The user manual is being fumbled by someone else. Caitlyn shouldn't be acting as though she's being punished for creating the three-point line. Observing is the only thing more awkward than her present usage. Referees attempt to explain a technical foul without engaging in interpretative dance.
In the post-practice interviews, had this to say.
I think that everyone saw that. We kind of got some flow when Kate was hurt and our offense was clicking. But now we have to have a new offense when she's in there because she just brings that much to the game, and so we have to adjust. And I think all of us just want it now. We know
We had some flow, but when Caitlyn's here, we need to play a different style because she's that great. That is what Sophie Cunningham just said.
There is a concerted effort to integrate rather than construct the offense around the generational issue. As though her existence is a little annoyance that requires permission from the bureaucracy, she doesn't play a supporting role. She is not a project to be developed before the gym lights go out. She is the blueprint, the main event, and the spectacular conclusion. Sophie is too busy to learn coded language. She is impatient with the pretenses of heritage coaching hierarchies. The year is 1997. Nope, not on my watch, she adds as she notices a star being intentionally dimmed, not because she is impolite or disrespectful, but because, in a league that still adores its filters, she is unfiltered. She will publicly state what everyone murmurs during group discussions. She will challenge choices that others justify as strategic. She will criticize inadequate coaching modifications that resemble confused yoga poses rather than basketball plays.
Years pass, but when Caitlin Clark has become the Caitlin Clark we loved and we've grown to see, Caitlin Clark has the ball in her damn hands, bro. Caitlin Clark has the ball in her hands, and she said verbatim herself that they run a read and react offense. You know what that is? The ball's in Caitlin's hands. Now, there has been a large speculation that Caitlin Clark pretty much wants to go to New York and play with Sandy Barnadello and the gang.
The Fever had the keys to a Ferrari, which is the true issue behind all the catchphrases and strategies. I made the decision to go grocery shopping with it, like Wi-Fi in a forest. Caitlyn's brilliance is being squandered. You don't write a once-in-a-generation player to have her stand in the corner while another player does a post-up that results in a missed basket and a collective sigh from the throng. You move aside, give her the spatula, let her cook, and watch the genius happen. However, in some way, the contentious person for pointing this out aloud is Sophie, not the coaches, not the offensive plan that it appears to have been scrawled on a napkin in the midst of chaos, not the decision-makers who continue to handle professional shooters like casual role-players. No, it's Sophie, with her audacious claims and refusal to act like the emperors. There are robes. She merely expressed her preference, and all of a sudden, half of the timeline demanded an apology. As though she disparaged their grandmother's cuisine. It's not Hunger Games, it's expansion.
First, I don't care about the rest of what she has to say. It's going to sound good, I'm sure. It's going to be her refusing to take accountability, I'm sure. It's going to be her putting the onus on the players, I'm sure. Not owning up to her, I'm sure. But what she said right there, other than 2 5-minute spurts, the team lost focus, didn't pay attention to detail, so on and so forth. That is her not realizing that she's accountable for what transpired.
Sophie recognizes, and many people won't acknowledge, that this league only succeeds when the product is unquestionably good. Additionally, the goods is being sold when Caitlyn touches the ball rather than after she vanishes for 10 minutes. Stretches as though the coaching staff has grounded her. If fans are crowding stadia and purchasing jerseys for a single player, perhaps, just perhaps, she should play a bigger role in the offense than in the bench rotation that entails folding chairs. Nobody showed up to observe the Fever run antiquated sets that mix up motion and advancement. Nobody is watching offensive content. Items that have no resolution and mimic group therapy sessions. They're come to see fireworks, deep threes, and the kind of self-assurance that even rival supporters applaud, because sometimes a microphone is necessary to tell the truth, as well as some attitude. And when things couldn't get much hotter, Sophie Cunningham enters with that remark: individuals on their own islands. For example, this is not a professional basketball game but rather a tropical vacation. Group, the Wnba abruptly became Survivor Indiana Fever Edition, where chemistry is legendary and trust is a myth. And nobody notices the boat is sinking since they are too preoccupied with paddling alone.
I've never thought that I would be saying this late last year in November when the Indiana Fever hired Stephanie White. I never thought I'd be saying this right now, only 19 games into the 2025 season, that it's time for Stephanie White to go. The Indiana Fever needs to fire Stephanie White. This is not going to work. What we're seeing is not going to work. It's just not going to work.
Because sometimes a microphone and a little attitude are necessary to tell the truth, and when it was unable to. Sophie Cunningham adds something spicy with that remark. Participants on separate islands. It feels like a tropical cruise. And not a basketball squad that plays professionally. Abruptly, the WNBA became Survivor Indiana Fever Edition. Where everyone is too preoccupied with paddling alone to see the boat is sinking, trust is a myth, and chemistry is legendary. And here's Sophie, using the megaphone to highlight what has been glaringly clear to anyone with 2 eyes and even half of a basketball brain. The group isn't merely fragmented, they have an aggressive allergy to unity. It's a lengthy collective project where Sophie is standing there thinking, hey, maybe we should, since nobody wants to open the Google Doc. Collaborate. However, rather than dealing with the dysfunction, the ruling class chose to continue turning the wheel of perhaps. Eventually, this will click, as though chemistry will materialize out of nowhere like a time-limited coupon. The head coach is still scribbling on a chalkboard like she's lost 2/3 of the way through the season. In a maze she made herself, still trying to figure it out. At the 20th game, that isn't a strategy. That's headband malpractice. Consider approaching offensive rhythm like a scavenger hunt when you have Caitlin Clark on your squad. No, the plays resemble unplanned street performance art more than planned action.
I like how she looks, but man, it's tough. It's tough to get that growing to 100%. But I like the mindset, thinking about her long term, right? Long term, and that's what matters the most. I know we are trying to push the Indiana Fever to win a championship right now this year. I know a lot of fans would love to see it, but at the end of the day, man, if Caitlin Clark has to sit out for the rest of the year, would y'all be able to accept that? Would that be something you can live with? You know what I'm saying? Not saying she has to or anything like that. I'm just saying if that came about.
Sophie, on the other hand, is calling it what she sees because she is tired of acting fake and avoiding the obvious. It's not a vibe issue if gamers are feeling disengaged, let's face it. It's a leadership issue. And since the beginning, it has been slow roasting. That island analogy was more than a casual comment, it was a full-fledged diagnosis. Scorers are not receiving touches, defenders are not receiving guidance, and rotations appear to. In the middle of the game, someone is playing Sudoku. A system does not exist. No accountability exists, only the head coach is present with a locker room full of courteous shrugs and a playbook full of fog. The national anthem is not as loud as the disconnect. And only Sophie has the courage to harmonize with it. The worst part, though, people continue to appear shocked that these are the things she is saying. A roulette wheel with a whistle on. The club has lots of talent, so it's not that they lack it. However, without direction, talent is only sneakers and chaos. A chemistry cannot be created by accident. You cannot anticipate synergy when nobody is permitted to develop trust. Additionally, you cannot continue to rearrange lineups in the manner of a DJ to keep a dying dance floor alive.
So today, lads, obviously there's going to be a lot of videos about Stephanie White, because we need to be honest here. Stephanie White's not going to change. Stephanie White is not going to change. Stephanie White is not going to stop until her style of drag everyone down to their level basketball prevails. She's not going to change. And I do not think that we're going to see very much of Stephanie White, or very much of the Fever playing good basketball under Stephanie White.
Sophie's voice, therefore, slices through the clutter like a chainsaw at a poetry reading. She isn't making ideas in whispers. She is giving assessments. Indeed, it hurts, but the truth typically does. Particularly after it has been buried under layers of deception, media lingo, and post-game interviews so ambiguous you'd think they were written by AI attempting to avoid legal action. What is the reaction of those on the sidelines? More uncertainty, greater faith in the vitality of the process. As if there hadn't been a gradual plunge into purgatory during the middle of the season. It's similar to witnessing someone decline to assemble IKEA furniture while reading the instruction manual, then blame the screws for not Possessing sufficient chemistry with the wooden panels, fans, meanwhile, are viewing Sophie as the only sensible person in a scary film packed of poor choices. When she points to the haunted basement and sees the ghosts, everyone else is still like, no, let's divide up and do our own research.